This is Toledo Symphony Lab, a behind-the-scenes look at the world of classical music from WGTE Public Media and your Toledo Symphony. I'm Brad Cresswell. Joining me today are the Toledo Symphony's president and CEO, Zach Vassar. We also have second principal violin and artistic administrator, Merwin Hsu, and the TSO's marketing director, Felicia Canny, and a special guest this morning, a senior from Toledo School for the Arts, Jose Martinez, who is interning with the TSO this week. Hello, Jose.
Hello.
Glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
You had no idea that we were going to put you on the radio, did you?
I did not.
Okay.
Oops.
Tell us a little bit about the interning at TSO. What are your expectations for this week, Jose?
So I have a project plan for that I'm going to be working on this week. So I'm more so getting myself ready.
Do you know what it is yet?
Kind of. It's going to be more so, I think, planning of kind of building an audience, but it kind of involves the concept that's this Friday.
There is no kind of building an audience. Oh. You build an audience or you don't, right?
Yes.
It's the Yoda thing. Do or do not. There is no try. So we're going to be building an audience.
Felicia, I commend you for bringing in a ringer to build the audience.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
This is our solution.
Well,
outstanding.
Jose, what is your number one piece of advice for getting an audience in to see a classical concert?
Have you seen a classical concert?
I have not seen the classical concert from the Symphony yet.
This will be a fun week.
It's going to be great. Choice. All right.
But you're a cellist.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I've seen a classical concert from the Symphony.
Good. Yes, that's what we were going for.
Yes, that was the question.
Okay.
Yes, I have that, then yes.
All right, Jose. Nice talking with you. Anyway.
Brad, did you just give him the hand?
No.
You did.
You just gave him the hand.
We're going to bring Jose in on all of this here because we do have a theme for today, and that theme is centered on the concert that's happening this Sunday, chamber concert. Is this the last chamber concert of the season?
It is our final.
It is indeed the final chamber concert at the Toledo Club this Sunday, April 29th at 7 o'clock p.m. 3 pieces of music on here. Bernstein, his dance suite for brass, the Mahler piano quartet, and the Brahms quintet for piano and strings. Now, we thought that this would be kind of an interesting theme to talk about composers that are well known for their symphonic output, but, they dial it down and have some examples of chamber music. And you're doing this. This is kind of a prelude to the final classics concert that's coming up, right? Can you tell us about that, Merwin?
Absolutely. I think we're trying to preview our final classics concert of the year, which also features Bernstein's Serenade and Mahler's First Symphony. Now, Bernstein and Mahler, very, very famous for their large-scale works. In fact, many people don't even know that Mahler wrote a piece of chamber music or that Bernstein had chamber music in his repertoire. So it's a chance for us to kind of feature a lesser-known side and then also to really explore the difference between a composer's chamber music side and their symphonic side.
Well, of course, a lot of people know Bernstein's music from, the musicals that he wrote, West Side Story, and from Broadway shows and that sort of thing. But something even like the Serenade is not all that well known, but it's a beautiful, virtuosic piece of music. And the chamber music, too, is a little bit different when if you know Bernstein, it's a little bit different. It always has that kind of sense of dancing to it. And in fact, This piece is called a dance suite. And I can tell you my own personal experience with Bernstein when I was at Tanglewood back in the 1980s, somewhere in there. Bernstein was still at Tanglewood, and we used to go to different parties with him afterwards and hang around with him. And I remember him talking to somebody. I was, eavesdropping and talking about how he was always dancing, whether he was moving or not. And because somebody asked him to dance, and he said, "I don't need to dance. I'm already dancing." And it was just such an interesting, exchange that I heard. And I thought, God, his music always sounds like it's dancing too. Yeah.
I think one of the great things about this particular suite is it's very short, but each one encapsulates the feeling of movement of a particular person. And that's one of the great things about chamber music is it can be extraordinarily personal. And I think with this particular offering with the Bernstein Dance Suite, he's referring to specific people and how they move and the dances that he associates with them. And I think it's like a 6-minute piece, if that, 6 or 7 minutes total with five different movements, but just a very, very fun piece.
And the choreographers that he's bringing in are very well known to dance fans. So you have George Balanchine, you have
Well,
Jerome
for a minute there, I
Robbins.
thought that you were actually going to choreograph the dance suite.
Zach is planning to do that on the fly with Jose.
Interpretive dancing.
Yes.
Is that my project?
Surprise.
I mean, you had me until Balanchine, and then I thought, no.
But this
That
would
would
be
be
an
a
interesting
feat.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, maybe for a future concert. But
Yeah.
you have Mikhail Baryshnikov in here. You have Jerome Robbins, with whom Bernstein worked on West Side Story. So it's really an interesting composition, and it's one of his last.
Yeah.
This came from 89, and he died in 90?
Yeah.
Do I have that right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Well, Zach, they're also doing Mahler, and you're a big Mahler file, as we know. Do you know this piece, or did you know it before the?
Yeah. So I remember when I first heard that there was chamber music by Mahler, I just about stopped everything I could do, and there was part of me that was really nervous that this was going to end up being like discovered piano rolls that somebody put a string quartet along to, or something that wasn't quite real.
Authentic,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and it was not discovered until later. I think it was only premiered in the 60s. But the piano trio is by Mahler. It was intended to be a piece of chamber music, and it's just one movement. So many feel that it was supposed to be completed later, and he just never got back to it. I think there were a couple scratches found for a second movement of Scherzo, if I'm not mistaken. And but what we have is this really subtle, beautiful piece. And when we were looking at the calendar, we thought about ways to tee up the Last Classics concert, like you spoke of. And me being addicted to Mahler, my first idea was maybe we could sneak this in on the program. And Merwin didn't hate the idea. So
It's always a good start.
it's always
right?
a good start.
Yeah, and it's an interesting opportunity for people who go to the classics concerts and don't necessarily go to all the chamber concerts because they like the big, full-blown experience.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a nice way for them to segue into seeing something a little different.
I've said it before, I think even on this program, that when I was in high school and in college, people would say how great chamber music was, but I liked the sound of a big, huge late romantic orchestra in all of the colors that were possible there. And it was only when I was in college and I had a professor who really helped me to see the way on chamber music that I discovered the subtlety and the real intimacy of the repertoire allows you to focus in some of the ways that Merwin was talking about a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to take these two symphonists who were known for very large, excessive orchestra sizes and paring them down to just a couple musicians and seeing where those colors are. So I'm very excited for people to discover that.
One of the great things is if you come to this concert and then go to the Mahler's First Symphony, you'll realize that even though Mahler's reputation as this gigantic symphonist is well earned, he really makes all of the instruments of the orchestra interact in a very chamber music-like fashion. I think if you compare him to, say, Bruckner creates these gigantic sound pillars where everybody kind of blends into single chords, and there are just a couple of lines happening at any given time. Sometimes the entire orchestra is doing one line. With Mahler, you have all of this intricate counterpoint that makes orchestral musicians think in a very chamber music-like fashion. They're having to listen to multiple lines at a time and really know where their place is at any given moment. And I think it's really interesting. I think it'll be very interesting for the people who get a chance to hear both the chamber concert and the symphonic concert. I think they'll really get a new appreciation of Mahler 1.
Yeah. Jose, are you going to go to both of these concerts?
I'll be there on Friday.
Yeah.
For the classic concert on Friday.
Yeah.
Good.
Good answer.
Okay, well, let's do a little quiz here. We're going to have a little
What is
symphony.
this? What are you doing, Brad?
This is. We're going to do a match
Okay, so
game.
that's not Brahms.
Okay.
This
No,
is
no,
also
no.
not
Really?
Mahler. Yeah.
This is a Toledo Symphony Lab match game. We're going to do chamber music version. Okay.
Wow.
Stay with me now.
Can I ask what your search term was to find this music?
Very easy, very simple. Anyway, you have a list of 8 composers in front of you. I want somebody to read off the composers' names in alphabetical order. Go ahead, Felicia. You can read those off.
Brahms, Bruckner, Dvorak, Mahler, Shostakovich, Sibelius, Tchaikovsky, Wagner.
So the whole gist of this is I'm going to play 6 samples here. Okay. And so we're playing match game. You're going to write down in order the composers that you think, belong to the pieces. A little 30-second excerpts here.
So we have more composers than we'll have excerpts.
Exactly. There are 2...
You're a nasty, nasty man.
There are 2 spoilers in there as well. Composers for which we don't have a match. All right? Here we go. This is example number 1. Okay, let's move on to sample number 2. And sample number 3. This one is kind of hard. I don't think it's very well known. And you would not expect it from this composer. Next sample. So far I've started at the beginning of each of these, but this one actually is a movement. 5th movement, I believe, of this piece. Almost there. Just a couple more. Here we go. Next one. And our final sample. You better get this one. Okay, there they are. Did you think that was
very tough?
I did horribly on this.
Were they easy or
no?
Or
this was very hard.
Was it hard?
This is very hard.
Jose, yeah. You weren't looking at the answers, were you?
Yeah,
I have a lot of blanks and question marks on mine. I think there's only one that I know for sure.
Well, who wants to go first?
Not me.
I do not.
Wait, I'm not ready.
You're not ready?
No,
what
I just took notes
mean?
on the side. I didn't even write.
You didn't write the names down?
No.
Well,
I thought I would do it all at the end. Hold on.
Guess. Well, you can do it again. Well, let's start with Merwin. Go ahead, Merwin. Let's hear let's read him off.
I'm going to strike out incredibly on this.
Yeah, well, all of us.
Okay, well, who was the first one?
Well, at first I had Tchaikovsky, but I don't. But then I heard something
really
that sounded much more
end.
like Tchaikovsky afterwards, because I felt like a cello sonata.
It got really modern too.
So I'm going to go
Yeah, it
Wagner.
did.
I'm going to guess Wagner.
It was a cello sonata.
By
Not Wagner. Who
Right.
thinks? Who? Okay, let's move on. Zach, who do you think did the first
It's
one?
not Shostakovich. I'm going to go back to Tchaikovsky.
Oh, it is Shostakovich. I'm sorry to say. So we got Shostakovich down. Second one. Who can get the second one?
Well, this is it was like strings only. It didn't
Yeah, it
have
was
any.
quartet.
Yeah.
I'm
Very
gonna
lyrical.
lean Bruckner on this one. Could I try Bruckner?
I'm going to lean Brahms on this one. Can I try Brahms?
Tchaikovsky.
Dvorak.
Was it the
Yeah.
same?
Wait. Let me cross out the names we've already done.
You know, it's embarrassing when your intern
Not at all. Not
It's
at
the
all.
answer.
It's wonderful.
gets the answer first.
Outstanding. What was it?
It was Terzetto in C major, Opus 74.
That's
by-
awful. I've
Yeah, I
actually played
would
the piece.
not have gotten that.
I've actually performed the
Wow,
piece.
that's- yeah.
just not
Okay.
appropriate.
That deserves like the trombone.
Yes, I think I do deserve the trombone. I've actually,
Yeah,
that's
that's like
just
a
awful.
tongue-wagging
Merwin, I
trombone.
hardly knew ye. Yeah.
So the next one was a piano piece, which
Piano.
was hard. Can anybody get? Maybe you can redeem yourself, Merwin. with
No.
the piano piece. Just take a guess.
Well, the guess I had was Dvorak, so I'm going to go Sibelius.
Oh my gosh.
The guess I had was Brahms, so I'm going to go Brahms.
Well, what do you say, Jose?
I guess Brahms.
Well, you know that
You know
Brahms
that's
is
not it.
wrong
Yeah.
already.
So another guess?
Yeah. I'll give you one mulligan.
His name rhymes with. I can't think of any words that his name rhymes with. It's close to lager.
Wagner.
It's not going to sound very good, me saying this, but I actually have 3 and Wagner written together. I didn't notice it until right now.
Oh, okay. Well, you get half a point for that. It was Piano Sonata in A flat by Richard Wagner. You know, there's a great story about Wagner. He had a dog who would lay at his feet, and he would try out different chords and things. And if
Until the dog approved.
if the dog responded, we would go with it. That's how
That's
he
amazing.
So
supposedly.
the dog
yeah.
composed everything.
Basically,
Was he the composer who also had like curtains that he was like, surrounded by, and he had to like, is that Wagner who had the velvet plush curtains that inspired him?
I'm not quite sure on that one.
Sounding a little bit more like Holst.
Yeah.
Didn't he have his sound chamber that he got hidden in?
Oh yeah. But
Yeah.
I think there's something about
I wonder if Wagner's dog was named Dogner.
Dogner?
Yeah, that'd be a great name
I think
for
I
a
actually
dog.
heard about this dog from
Yeah.
a couple subscribers. Robert Wagner has a story about a dog that would like music, and then I think his dog did not like
Yeah.
Wagner. if I
No
have it right.
relation, though, Wagner and Wagner.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Well, we still have 3 more examples here. Who
That's
got
a
the
lot of
next one?
humiliation to keep going. I need somebody else to go first.
The piece that I said was an excerpt. It's a 5th movement. I'll give you that, of a string quartet in D minor. So who could it have been?
I'm going to go for Sibelius on this.
Yeah.
Okay, so far Zach has 1.5 points and Jose has 2 points.
You seem surprised, Jose. You're like, how did I get 2?
Jose, that lunch we're having on Wednesday is going to be killer.
They are neck and neck at this point between the CEO and the intern. This is
I should point out that I was once an intern at the Toledo Symphony,
As was
Yeah,
Felicia.
There you go.
as was Felicia.
Merwin
Yeah.
and you? No.
I have not been.
I mean,
an
I had
intern.
pre-tenure. Does that count?
Well, we only have 2 composers left, and I think a lot of you know
We
who
do.
the final one was. So who's the remainder here? Who was
Number
the
5
second
was a piano, cello, violin, I think.
one? Yeah, also known as a piano trio.
Okay. I didn't know if there were
I
any
went-
violas that we didn't hear.
So I originally had Tchaikovsky for the first one, but then switched to the 5th one.
Good job, and Merwin has a point. So 1.5 for Zach, 1 for Merwin, 1 for Jose. All right. I mean, 2 for Jose. Sorry, didn't mean to shortchange you there.
We need a
And
recount on this.
The final one, the final excerpt we heard. Let's all say it at the same time. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Mahler.
Okay, so Merwin has 2 points, Felicia has 1 point, Zach has 2.5, and Jose has 3. Jose is the winner.
Are you going by what's right? Because I
of the
did get 3 right.
That's amazing.
Are we going by what's right?
Actually,
Bravo.
3 out of 6.
We need to subtract the ones that are wrong. So does that 0 everyone out?
3 out of 6 is actually pretty good for one of
Yeah.
Brad's quizzes.
And tell him, Johnny, what does
Well,
Jose
and all
win?
like chamber music. I'm sorry.
That concludes this edition of Toledo Symphony Lab Match Game. And our winner is Jose Martinez. Jose, tell us a little about yourself.
I am a high school student, senior. I play the cello with my school's orchestra, and I am pursuing composition with an emphasis in arts administration.
Excellent, Jose. And you were also the winner of Match Game today on Toledo Symphony Lab.
Please make sure to add that to your resume.
Oh,
yes, absolutely. Has to go on the resume. So let's go back to this chamber concert that's coming up. I mean, we had a little fun, but we heard that little snippet of that Mahler piano quartet. Is it a quartet? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Piano quartet. And it really does sound symphonic. It has kind of those big, broad strokes to it.
The way it starts, it's just like one of those mists. The piano is just hitting these chords, and you just want to know, where is this going? You know, it's definitely telling a story. And then when the strings come in, I just kind of lose my mind.
Well, this brings up an interesting point about the idea that some composers, even when they're writing chamber music, are basically symphonic composers, right? Do you think Mahler falls into that category?
Well, I think Mahler was so defined by his symphonies, and this sense that he was kind of trying to create a unique sound world for every single one of his symphonies. And I think that in that sense, this piano quartet does fall into that. Immediately, you're getting this sense of atmosphere. It's a fairly young piece for Mahler. So I think that, I think there's things he's trying out that ultimately you'll hear those gestures late, next week. You'll hear those gestures. But I think that I would say that there's just not enough chamber music by Mahler to really be able to say that this is something that he does in chamber music.
Yeah, we can't really overemphasize it. It would be kind of dangerous to do so. It's nice that we have it, but we can't say that this evokes any style. It's way too early and too few data points.
It was kind of like a sandbox for him, where he was working out some ideas and trying out some things that in a genre that he knew would get performed, at least, that he'd have a much better chance.
I still feel like this sounds more like Brahms than it sounds like Mahler. I mean, Mahler he went in such different directions from here. It's way too early to say. Yeah. That's just my feeling.
What about Brahms as a chamber composer? I mean, he was a pianist, so that lends a lot more into it, and he wrote some beautiful songs and things like that. But
well, I think that one of the things that's really interesting is that this Brahms piano quintet has often been compared to a symphony. It feels extraordinarily vast in scope, and there's this sort of, the very beginning of it has this assertiveness of purpose. I am writing something capital I important, and this is going to take a while. When you hear that first theme, this is not going to be a 5-minute piece. And
can you sing the first theme? I just to jog my memory. Okay, that's right. Thank you.
Wow.
I listened to it this weekend, but I couldn't recall
Ask for it, you got it. Hey.
Wow.
I don't have a kazoo with me. Could I do this on kazoo?
I'm going to put a quarter in the jukebox there.
I'm just going to take that singing you just did and make that my ringtone. That was lovely.
Yeah.
I
have a recording of it. I'm going to put that on my soundboard. I'm sorry. What were you talking about?
I got completely lost.
I'm so sorry.
But I think.
Oh no! Wait.
This is going to be
the
theme of nightmares.
Nightmares, yeah.
But one of the things that a piece that Zach and I have talked about quite a bit is that Brahms' Opus 25 piano quartet, which actually has been orchestrated by, of all people, Arnold Schoenberg to amazing effect. Because I think of the major composers, I think Brahms's intersection between symphonic and chamber is very vast. His chamber works have a symphonic scope. His symphonic works can often feel like chamber music. And so like 2 piano transcriptions of a Brahms symphony are possible and make perfect sense.
Yeah. Where does this particular quintet fall in Brahms' oeuvre? Is it like before you did the first symphony or finished the first symphony? Is it an early work?
It is early middle, so in his Opus 30s, Opus 34,
34.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So that would be before it. I think if somebody created an orchestrated version of this and said this was Brahms's fake first symphony, I think you would buy it.
Yeah.
It does feel symphonic, but ultimately he made an even more dramatic statement with the opening of his first symphony.
And it took him 20 years to put that first symphony together because, as the story goes, he was laboring under the shadow of Beethoven. I mean, he took that symphonic expression very, very seriously. His second symphony came like super fast after that, once he broke down the dam or whatever it was. But it had to have been in his mind at the time when he was writing this chamber music, looking forward to the symphony, the first symphony that, he was going to create or was creating.
Well, there's extraordinary correspondence between Brahms and Clara Schumann about this particular piece and different versions that he was creating of it before ultimately settling on the piano quintet.
She was a little dismissive of it, of the form, because originally it was a sonata, I think, right?
I can't remember which version came first. So
I think because I think about it that she said, it's not really a sonata there, Joe. So then when he goes
she
to
called
write,
him Joe, huh?
yeah, when he goes to write his first symphony, and that's what we know is his first piano concerto, she said, it's not really a symphony. So she was kind of his muse, but also his greatest critic. It's like, not there yet, Joe.
Sometimes those are the same thing. Talk a little bit about the whole Toledo Club experience, because most people are used to going to see the symphony. Well, people who go to the classics concerts and what have you, to seeing it in the larger venues, but Toledo Club being more intimate. I mean, can you eat? Can you drink during the concerts?
Yeah, there are little cheese plates and glasses of wine. There's a bar. Yeah.
And that's just for the musicians.
During the concert.
Nice.
Well, I think Merwin had mentioned earlier that some of the chamber works sound as big and grand as symphonic works, and I think that has it's some part due to like the location of it, because chamber works in the past in Western Europe and even in America, they were performed like in homes, in parlors, as kind of like after dinner entertainment. And having it in a smaller venue definitely amplifies the sound a lot, and you're sitting so much closer to the musicians that it does provide a much more intimate experience that, sometimes you don't get when you sit further away at, a classics concert, for instance.
I just love watching the unspoken dialogue, when you're watching musicians and their eyes are on each other so intently. And their eyebrows can be communicating things to each other, and their jaw lines can be showing aggression or something like that. There's so much more dialogue that you can feel like you're part of, and this is a great antidote to those who attend a full orchestral concert and say, "Are they even watching the conductor? What's going on? They don't even seem to be talking to each other." Then you realize in a chamber setting how much they are, and it's palpable, and it's really exciting to be part of.
The concert is this Sunday, April 29th at 7 o'clock p.m. That's at the Toledo Club in downtown Toledo. Last chamber concert of the season, music of Bernstein, Mahler, and Brahms. You can get your tickets at 419-246-8000. Toledo Symphony Lab is generously underwritten by a gift from the estate of Barbara Garwood and is a production of WGTE Public Media in collaboration with our sponsor, the Toledo Symphony. You can download episodes of this program as a podcast by going to our website at wgte.org/lab or subscribing on Apple Podcasts and on Google Play. My thanks to Zach Vassar, Merwin Siu, Felicia Canny, as well as Jose Martinez. I'm Brad Cresswell, and this has been Toledo Symphony Lab here on FM 91.